she used, light a fire. So actually, I think Catherine deserves a ride once we get it in service. The first one to take a little ride along with the fire department.
Yeah. Any other questions?
You guys are live on YouTube, so you got to use the mic so they can hear you.
All right. Good evening. And I think this is a question for both fire and PD. I know we're fast approaching 4th of July. We've been in the community for quite some time. And actually earlier this morning, I was having a conversation with two other people. The conversation started around illegal fireworks. And although the illegal fireworks problem has always been there, up to a certain point, but now with the dry season, with the fires, like right now on Patterson Pass, we have a lot of dry grass around town, the roofs, so their concern is, it's like, well, somebody said, I'm always having illegal fireworks, not even close to 4th of July. Sometimes we don't call because we're hoping that it's just one of those isolated cases, but sometimes it's like, even during the week, somebody has a birthday and, there's fireworks. And are we expecting to have more patrols during that week around town in the afternoon, in the evenings, at night? Yes, this probably we're cut into overtime and stuff like that for some of the people, but what can we do to be able to answer those questions for not only, primarily now that we're getting closer to 4th of July?
So a couple things that we typically try to do, and the first thing we try to do is mitigation. Right. So with our weed abatement program, we get out early on in the months, May, June, to start our weed abatement process, and that identifies any areas that have any grass that's bordering the fence line over 6 inches or anything like that. Right. So we get that process starting early on, so that way we can try to mitigate the vegetation part of things. But then one of the other things that we'll do is for the 4th, we'll bolster our responses by having an additional engine staff for response that's rarely available to respond to calls like that. One of the things that I discourage my personnel from doing is engaging or confronting personnel that have illegal fireworks. Because it's not their role for enforcement, so they're there for to mitigate the hazard. So we won't go out patrolling, nor will we go out and try to enforce the use. What we will do though is we may just drive around to be seen. All right, so then that sometimes discourages the use of illegal fireworks. But what I would say is, if you have relatives, neighbors, or even the community that sees illegal fireworks being used, call 911, get a hold of law enforcement, and then they can do the law enforcement side of things.
Yeah, if I could just add, I appreciate the question, and this problem is inherent to many communities in the state. A lot of those illegal fireworks come in through other states, and there's been some very proactive enforcement to try to reduce the amount that come into our state. But it is truly a problem, and we will personally have some officers out enforcing that. And I think we're very fortunate to have the battalion chief in charge of the Office of Emergency Services here, who will be putting together a unified press conference on Tuesday, and it will have some information on that, but we will have all police departments, all fire departments involved in this event, and we're going to show a unified presence on how we're going to enforce that. And if you didn't know that, there are firefighters that carry guns, and they're part of the law enforcement component of CAL FIRE that will be out patrolling different areas, and those folks are the experts in enforcement of the violations of illegal fireworks. And so we're doing what we can. I don't think it's one of those things that will be going away, but hopefully we can minimize it. And frankly, it's very dangerous to have illegal fireworks. You're going to blow off your fingers, you're going to blow off your hand, you're going to kill somebody, you're going to start fires. But I think the mindset that we battle is people think it's just a celebration for the independence of our nation. It's not like doing something illegal, like selling drugs or stabbing somebody. It's, I've got some fireworks, I'm celebrating our. That's kind of the mindset. But it is something that's very, very dangerous, and we need to make sure people realize how dangerous it is, and that we will be taking enforcement action if we do encounter you with illegal fireworks or setting them off as well. And so we encourage our residents, if you want to call us anytime, if you have an area that you know it's occurring at, let us know. If you have an address, let us know, and we'll go out there and we'll investigate that. But it's something that it is very important to not only the fire department, but the police department as well.
Thank you. A couple of questions just to follow up. One, is the fines, are they pretty much across the board the same per county, per city? Is there a difference, or do you know? Can you give us more, versus just catching someone with illegal fireworks versus, selling, possession, and use of illegal fireworks? If you know. And the other idea is like thinking ahead for next year. Could we consider something like 3 or 4 months ahead of time and start planning an education process? And along with some of the schools, maybe, kind of do a workshop at our different schools when there's parents meetings and say, this is going to be coming up, this is what's going to be happening, and, in prevention, we need you to be aware of this and that. Yes, I understand that it is, this could be more of a process of educating ahead of time instead of waiting until the day off and we're just going to go out on full force and try to prevent it, because it's going to be more difficult. Right. Just an idea. Thank you.
Yeah, so I don't know if there are any, to answer your first question, I don't know if there's any standard fine or fee for individuals that are caught with the use of fireworks, illegal fireworks. I know certain cities will impose certain fines, and they'll have it in their ordinance. I believe Merced City has an ordinance that if you're caught with illegal fireworks, then there's fines that are associated with that. I'm not familiar if the county has one. Maybe Chief Ron or Chief Alobacels, are you guys aware of the county having anything? Okay. And I'm not familiar of anything in the county, and I don't believe that the city has.
City has ordinance.
The city has ordinance with fines?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know what the actual fine. Well, go ahead.
You want to sit up here, Jose?
Oh, this is your forum. So a question for Barack. So in terms of, I think it would be helpful if we let folks know kind of a little bigger overview that you don't just put out fires, some of the other aspects of the department and what you do, and then the relationship that we as a city have with CAL FIRE, and then CAL FIRE with the county, and then and then the big cheese is here, So if you can do that for us, that would be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Merced, basically, Livingston City contracts with the County of Merced for fire protection. So what that means is, Livingston pays a certain fee to the county. The county provides personnel to respond to medical emergencies, fires, hazardous material incidents, technical rescues. If you have a smoke detector that's beeping, we'll come out and assist you with changing out the batteries and stuff like that. But then in turn, the County of Merced contracts with the state of California, CAL FIRE. So that's why you'll see someone with a CAL FIRE patch, but they may be driving a Merced County piece of equipment, but responding in the city of Livingston. All right, so it would be as if like the city of Livingston PD contracted with Merced SO, who in turn contracted with CHP to provide services. So the county then pays the state, and then the state provides the personnel. All right. And we're an all-risk fire department, so we respond to any call, whether it's a medical emergency, whether it's a structure fire, vegetation fire, debris fire, vehicle accidents. If you fell out of bed and you're needing, or if you have a headache, whatever it is, we'll come out and assist you. Then also what we do is we also do weed abatements. We do school presentations. We're do facility inspections, and we're looking into business inspections as well. So it's a multifaceted. Basically, it's more of like a prevention, which we always try to push for is prevention, because if we can prevent the emergency from happening, then it's beneficial for the residents as well as the employees, right? And it keeps us, we do a lot of public education. We do a lot of school events. We go out and do some public education at the retirement homes, the elderly care facilities. And it's just to kind of keep everybody in tune and aware of like us being safe-minded. We also respond, we have personnel that that are part of an incident management team that responds statewide to large incidents. And it could be like the large devastating fires you've seen last year, or it could be mudslides, it could be hurricanes. So we have 6 teams throughout the state, and each team comprises of individuals from local government and state personnel. And they're typically a 53-person team, and they assemble and respond to different types of emergencies statewide.
Thank you, Chief. There's a question.
I'm going to help you out, Brock. For the city of Livingston, I'm a resident. All my kids have gone to school here, and we've all gone to the fire department. So, being one of the parents that volunteer for everything, I have been to the fire department probably more times than I can count. Even as a Girl Scout leader, we have gone to the fire department. So they do more than just show up if you call 911. They provide the education that Mr. Mann was talking about. If you go to the fire department, all the schools get the coloring book, they get the badge, they get the hat, which does talk about fireworks safety in it. All you have to do is read it. And it's in there. And it's in plain language. It's given to school-age children who are learning to read. So these things are really simple. They come out to all of our city events. So if you're out at any of our city events, you will see the fire department out there. I tell my staff personally that if you're not sure and someone's hurt, call 911. It doesn't cost anything unless you actually get in the vehicle. So don't get in the vehicle. Just make sure that everybody's okay. So they come out for our 4th of July. They're out for that. They're, like I said, any event, they are present. And sometimes just the presence of our police department to our fire department, you can reach out to them. They are not hard to find. They are very accessible. And like I said, just show up. And they're also friendly. Brian's usually here with us normally. And so Brian's a really easy guy. Just had a baby not too long ago. So again, these people are very human. Becerra, Chief, all of them, we know their children. They're very accessible as human beings. So they're not unattainable or unapproachable. So if you'd like to have a conversation with them, please do so, because they do help out the city a lot.
Thank you.